What do two actors, a film festival, and an award show have to do with you? Well, the lesson may surprise you, but it's one that applies to all of us and one that is directly related to our success in any area of life. As I listen to these two actors who have achieved a great deal of success in their careers, I realized the importance of what they were saying had a much broader appeal than their industry. And it is something that most of us could improve upon. Just what is that lesson? Stay tuned. I'm sharing it next. Welcome to Shift or Get Off the Pot, the podcast that helps you get out of your head and into action so you can make your dreams your reality. Let's get to it. One of the events that I get to produce each year is a celebrity awards event for the Newport Beach, California Film Festival. And it is an event I look forward to every year because it is a really fun event with top talent attending and receiving awards. I love listening to the speeches because they are often about their journey and some of the struggles that they had to overcome along the way. Well, this past weekend, two actors in particular spoke about self-value and the need to stand up for yourself, to find your voice and speak that voice. Sheryl Lee Ralph, who you may know from Abbott Elementary, she was in Dreamgirls. In fact, I think she won an Emmy for Dreamgirls. She was in Good Times and The Jeffersons and numerous television shows and movies. Well, she talked about valuing yourself not just as an artist, but as a person and having the self-respect to stand up for yourself. And then Nicolas got up and echoed that, talking about respecting yourself and your craft by realizing that you are the instrument that is telling the story in movies and in your life. Now, he went on to refer to something in the industry that actors are dealing with right now called EBDR, employment-based digital replica, where an actor's voice, an actor's performance, or even face can be altered after a movie has been shot. So in other words, that actor may give up really who they are. Their essence is being altered by robotics. Now, I know that they were both referring to the arts. And this need to have self-respect and value really applies to all of us, to everyday life, because it is a matter of self-respect or knowing and believing in your own value. Low self-value can undermine your success in any area of life, including your business. It can lead to lack of confidence, which, by the way, is often disguised as acting like you know it all, or being completely self-sufficient, not needing any help, not only not asking for help, but not being willing to receive help. And it can affect relationships as well as the profitability and growth of your business. Whether you are a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a freelancer, an actor, how you value yourself is directly related to your success. And the funny thing is that many times you may not even realize that you are undervaluing yourself. Certainly there are some things that you'll easily see, but there are oftentimes kind of some hidden signs. A few telltale signs, I would call them. You may try all sorts of tactics or strategies to pull in business. Maybe you're doing social media posts, ads, networking events, but there always seems to be an obstacle. And it could be that you have this sense of being held back. And granted, some of this could just simply be in the communication that you're putting out there or the messaging, but often it can be traced back to not feeling good enough or not feeling deserving of success. You may struggle with pricing your products or services. Usually, there is a tendency to underprice. This is tied to people pleasing. May not surprise you there. But you might think that underpricing will be good for bringing in customers, but the chances are if you are undervaluing your services, customers will too. You may undersell the brilliance of your work. Think about this. You may know how good you are, but have you ever found yourself having a hard time showing up? Maybe you hide, maybe you pull back a little bit, maybe you're afraid to sell yourself too high, which just ties to fear of judgment. So you hold yourself back. Maybe you give a presentation that's a little bit too timid and you don't win the contract. Or you open the door for your clients to start negotiating your pricing. Again, that all goes back to low self-value. Perhaps you struggle with indecision. You second guess yourself, which is just a lack of self-confidence. Or you may settle. You might accept business that perhaps you don't really want, or you work with clients that are disrespectful because you fear you may not be able to get more business. You may be capable of record growth, but something always holds you back. And that something is usually your own self. Self-value is about how you act toward what you value, including yourself. And low self-value can be the biggest obstacle to your success. So then, how do you build that value? There's a quote that says, to value something goes well beyond regarding or feeling that it's important. You appreciate its qualities while investing time, energy, effort, and sacrifice into its maintenance. It's not uncommon to neglect ourselves. It's not. Many of us do it. And a lot of times, especially as women, we put others' needs first. But it just depletes us. And think about it. You wouldn't treat somebody you really care about like that. If you were to buy, let's say you bought a brand new car, luxury car, or a brand new home, you would take care of it. You would invest time in keeping it in great condition. Well, it's the same thing with ourselves. And that is actually the very first step to building self-value. You have to be willing to invest in your own well-being, physically and emotionally. Many of us are guilty of taking on too much and we just simply become overwhelmed. But it's okay to say no. You may have to practice saying no several times. I know I did. I was the first to raise my hand and volunteer for everything and anything. But I had to learn to say no. And that's just a sign of self-respect. So you may have to practice this a few times. You might have to practice it so you don't cringe when you say it. Well, you might still cringe a little bit, but that's okay, as long as you can start saying it. The second step is to set boundaries and make time for the important things in life, especially if you work from home. There can be no definitive start and end to your day, so you have to put yourself on a schedule and include some fun and downtime and hold to that schedule. And just like in the first step of investing in your well-being, healthy boundaries will require you to know what to walk away from and to know that it's okay to say no. Third, you have to be willing to let go of perfectionism. Now, the key here is be willing, because it may take some time. And I'm sure you've probably heard that perfectionism kills productivity. It can be self-sabotaging, especially when you over-deliver when there's really no need to. And again, that just goes back to people-pleasing. Or you start to overthink every decision you make. So just like learning to say no, you quiet that perfectionism by practicing letting go little by little. The need to do everything just right. There are certainly going to be some instances where you demand more from yourself. You demand excellence from yourself and others, and that's okay. That happens, but as long as you're not beating up on yourself. The fourth step is to learn to take compliments. And sometimes we have to really learn how to take those compliments and receive them with grace, accept them, and value your accomplishments. Fifth, find the good in yourself. Focus on your strengths. List out the things that you are really good at and what people praise you for. One way to do this is to write an autobiography. Write about your life. You may be surprised when you see just what you've overcome and how far you've come. And then finally, the sixth step is to challenge negative thoughts. Remember that thoughts are not facts. They're just thoughts. And they will pop up. They always do. Those negative thoughts always pop up. But you can change them. And you change those negative thoughts by flipping the script. Turn it around. Turn it into something positive. Have you ever had a bad dream and then you've gone back and you've tried to mentally change the outcome of that dream? You flip it into the positive. Well, you can do the same thing with your thoughts. And then I will leave you with this final step that will help you build the self-value. Anytime you start to either maybe second guess yourself, or you start to feel yourself slipping into that perfectionism, or you begin to hear that critical voice pop up in your head, name it. Name that behavior. Because when you name it, you actually make it more tangible. So give it a name, maybe like somebody you didn't like in school, or name it after one of the mean girls, Regina, whatever name works for you. But you want to name it because it's going to make it feel tangible. And then it's a lot easier to see it for what it is. Just a voice. Just a voice. And not the important voice. Not your voice, which matters. Remember, you are capable of far more than you probably give yourself credit for. We all are. So exercise your self-respect and self-value by practicing these steps. I will list these steps down below in the show notes, and I'll be back with you again in 2 days. Thanks so much for joining me here today. If you want some help achieving your goals, you can grab the Success Bundle link down below, or head over to my website, kimkellythompson.com, where I have several free resources to help you. If you like what you've heard today, please consider hitting that subscribe button and join me throughout the week for episodes that will help you make your dreams your reality. I'll be back again soon with another edition of Shift or Get Off the Pot.